No continent is richer than Africa in resources and character. No continent is as underestimated as Africa in size and market potentials. No continent is as overestimated as Africa in challenges of doing business. Africa's real problem is an image problem. No thanks to bad press, bad mouth in Mother Africa. Mama Africa, we are rewriting your story. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Hey guys, welcome to Lifestyle Central, your one-stop shop for everything life and style.
On this show, we'll be talking about all the latest trends, the biggest news, and the best places.
So sit back, relax, call a friend, and enjoy.
Oh, by the way, my name is Winfrey Daniel Okolo.
And my name is Ejiro Esigbone, and this show is going to be boom shakalaka.
Hey, welcome to your favorite podcast radio show of all time. It is Lifestyle Central, and my name is Winfrey Daniel Okolo, and of course I have Ejiro right here staring at me like, if you don't mention my name now.
She's just super excited because she joined in from traffic last time around. So today's just like, hallelujah, amen. I'm here live. I have chin in my bag. I have bottled water. I made it.
That's what we're doing, right? Okay, should I tell you guys that Adrian is actually looking like...
Like what? Say it. Try it.
Cash app.
What? Please ignore Winfrey. All I have on is like a simple, classy gold chain. What?
You have some guys in training, yo.
Winfrey is rude. Eat your chin-chin. Just eat your chin-chin.
I love it. I mean, it goes with the hairstyle.
Wow.
With everything.
I have wedding this weekend, so I had to clean up. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to your favorite radio show, your favorite podcast, your favorite people, Ejiro and Winfrey. And we're here live. And today is going to be super interesting. Every day is interesting, actually, with us. Yeah, and you're going to have fun.
Definitely you will have fun. I mean, it's December. A lot of people are excited. Sadly, I'm not so excited this December about Christmas. Like, I literally get to remember that, oh, wow, it's December every time I see, like, Christmas lights. And it actually is just so, I don't know. It's not me. I'm, like, anticipating Christmas from like October normally, but thanks to 2020. That brings us to our topic for today. We're talking business and 2020.
Yep, business and 2020. To be honest, I have been excited about Christmas because it's just like nothing new has happened, right? I read somewhere that Israel and the US have been in contact with aliens, but at least they haven't landed on Earth yet. So December has been rough but sane. So I put up a Christmas tree in my house and I put up like these little cute lights and balls and stuff. Yeah.
The funny thing is that my Christmas tree is actually up all year round.
What?
Yeah.
That's why you're not in the Christmas spirit.
Probably printed.
That's why you're not in the Christmas spirit.
Okay, actually a thought came to mind when I thought about business and 2020, right? It's not only when I thought about it. Like, I always think about it. Like, everything that is not government or religious in some cases is actually a business. I mean, think about it.
Okay.
Food, this gold chain.
Yeah, like
haircut.
Business is in the fabric of like everything that we do.
Everything we do. Yeah.
And I know that, when we think business, people who are in paid employment think, oh, those entrepreneurs.
The entrepreneurs, exactly.
But the funny thing is that you are in paid employment, you are inside of a business because it's a business that is paying you.
People don't think of that. Exactly.
Yeah.
People don't think of that. They think of, okay, fine. Business is, yes, that's my own.
Yeah, exactly.
My business. Do you understand? And then it just blows my mind. I mean, I'm looking at like everything here is produced somewhere, distributed through some medium. Do you understand? It's all a business process. And I like, people don't think of it that way. But I think a lot of people in Nigeria, I mean, we have so many businesses here and all of that. And of course, we know how 2020 turned out, and definitely a lot of people. I mean, I even spoke about even government these days is business. You understand? Like, Seriously.
So like,
let's talk about religion.
So let's not do that.
No,
let's not do that. All right.
that.
So just thinking about like 2020, I know for certain, like I have a couple of entrepreneur friends, and this year was a first for them in many ways, and some of those ways were not good. I know a friend of mine who runs a restaurant business in Lagos, and she had to fire people for the first time in her life because like. At first, they were like, oh, we'll keep all our employees, we keep all of you, we're trying. But then it just got to a point where they weren't selling anything. And then they were paying people whose work is like directly related to like cooking and cleaning. And it just didn't make sense. And so they had to let people go. And I remember when we had the conversation, she was just like, this is just so hard. Because you know that they can't go anywhere else because nobody's employing this kind of labor at this time. And that was like in like April, May, in the middle of our whole like real lockdown. So I know that businesses have been through quite a bit this year. Quite a lot actually.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, it makes me think of, I've seen different posts on social media concerning this issue. I know also a friend, I came across her in one of her Instagram posts, and she was talking about how, she's so happy and proud of herself, of how she was able to sustain her workers and pay them. And we're talking about the travel business, by the way.
Wow.
And we all know all that froze. You understand?
Wow.
So it now makes me think, is that a wise thing to do? That, okay, fine, maybe she couldn't pay full salary, but then again, she took she even says she's still paying them till now. And she still spoke about how the business has literally not had anything come in from then. I mean, this is a business that was even struggling even before the pandemic. You are not talking about. Do you understand? So I'm like, okay, fine. Is that a wise thing to do? I mean, why not just, I think at a point it might seem hard, but people will still understand that you are also human, right? And the money you're putting into that is money you make from other things that you do.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So,
I think some people might have also looked at it from like a long-term point of view. If you stay with people in times like this, then they'll stay with you in hard times. And so maybe some business owners have actually like tried to sustain their employees. Yeah. See, employee loyalty, right, is actually, employee loyalty is tied to loyalty, right? It's very hard to find and keep good people in Nigeria, in the world actually, find and keep good employees. And so sometimes when you go out of your way to make their lives better, when they feel that you care, they'll be like, oh, okay, this one I'll stay.
And it's true because we don't have a lot of that in Nigeria.
No, we don't. People feel disposable, so they usually act like they're disposable, and that's one of our problems in terms of how business
make
run.
Employees feel very disposable.
Yeah.
Like whether you're here or not, business is going to
go on.
So,
yeah. But this year has been, I think, the big things for businesses this year. One is they had to change how they operate. So I remember at some points in time, some restaurants in Echo Hotel started delivering food because they had like all the whole kitchen facilities, but nobody was coming to sit in to dine. Yeah, so I know corporate organizations needed to like drastically change how they operated. So like full on buildings were shut down and everything was done remotely. Things that nobody thought could be done remotely had to be done remotely. Clients were serviced remotely. People had to plan more. People had to be more stringent in terms of how they manage their cash flows. In this year, promotions for many businesses in terms of employee promotions were cancelled because like we just don't have the money. But some businesses boomed.
Exactly. I was literally going to take you off like
while
there
so many businesses had to
as much as a lot of businesses suffered negatively, a lot of businesses also suffered. You want to suffer positively?
Wow, is it changing?
A lot of businesses actually made a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, in that period of time, what I was doing, I know mostly was I was literally buying stocks. Like, I was literally just pushing and pulling, pulling. Like, honestly. And the truth is, it opened my eyes. It's true. It opened my eyes to a lot of things. Like, it actually made me realize, you understand? Like, I have this app on my phone where you literally see, like, different companies. So at that time, I could literally monitor, who is doing great?
Who's performing,
who is not doing great? Do you understand? To where to push the cash into and where to pull it out from. And I know, this Forex thing got really popular in that period. Everybody was literally learning how to trade and all of that. But people still made it. I mean, also another business I don't know. I think the industry, when it comes to food, if you know or knew how to like handle your orders and all of that, because people still eat.
Because so delivery people who were offered dispatch services also had like will I say jerk up in their businesses.
YouTube.
Social media. Zoom app of the year. Zoom stocks like quadrupled or something.
TikTok,
Teams. There was this app that was trying to break into the market, but it just was a fad. It was this app where you could call a lot of people house party. We thought it was going to be a thing, but it didn't last. But then Zoom, this was Zoom's year.
This was TikTok's year.
TikTok's year to Microsoft released Teams. But I think communication and social media businesses actually just like boomed. Also food in a way, but not like fine dining food that require people to sit in and buy expensive stuff, but like food where people just cook, eat and deliver.
I think retail also, like a lot of like shops. I know prices literally went up with like regular supermarkets and all of that. And there were always queues, especially like the period where, I mean, they told everybody to go and stock your house. War. Do you understand? Exactly. They told everybody to go and stock their houses. So I remember going to one of the very popular ones around and it was crowded. So and because of that, they took advantage of that and like hiked their prices. So a lot of people cashed out. So honestly, I didn't feel, I'm not saying this with bad faith, right? When the hoodlums visited some places, like, there wasn't necessarily.
Don't say that.
I didn't say anything.
Good.
Okay, I'm just, I think we need to go on a quick break. We need to go on a quick break, and when we come back, we definitely will be interviewing a very, very interesting personality who definitely runs a business, and he's going to tell us how
who runs a business that talks about business.
Exactly, businesses, right?
Businesses.
He's going to tell us how he literally pulled through the year, and if he's trying to shut down, definitely he's not. He's actually doing really well. So stick around, right? Still Lifestyle Central, your girl Winfrey, and
your boy Adriel.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
No continent is richer than Africa in resources and character. No continent is as underestimated as Africa in size and market potentials. No continent is as overestimated as Africa in challenges of doing business. Africa's real problem is an image problem. No thanks to bad press, bad mouth in Mother Africa. Mama Africa, we are rewriting your story. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Welcome back. Ladies and gentlemen, we have with us our amazing guest. He's a handsome guy. He's smiling.
Thank you.
He's vibing. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Soji Akinlabi.
That's correct.
The founder of Africa Business Radio.
Welcome. I'm spotting your pouch. I'm like, it's fat, man. But that's not my business. So welcome to Lifestyle Central.
Welcome to your studio.
We just had to. We actually just had to.
We didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
We totally had to. And so the topic for today is business and 2020, right?
Okay.
And the reason why we decided, you know what, there's no other person to interview but you, is the fact that, a lot of businesses, we can literally say, we can predict, fine, this is how it went for this one, this is how it went for that one. But when it comes to radio, you still struggled with the same things people struggled with. But then again, we still needed information and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you still had to run while everybody was locked down and all of that. So we want to dive into that experience, how you managed to weather that particular storm. For some people believe that probably like media houses and all that cashed out during this period. Well, they will never admit they did. So what was it like for you? Coronavirus, the lockdown, what's up?
So sorry, before you go deep into that question, you can just give us a brief history of Africa Business Radio, what you're about.
Okay.
Yeah. And all that.
All right. So I'll start from you. So we started about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
That was in 2015. Of course, the journey has been quite rocky, if I may say. But then it's also been like a journey of growth, from the first year to the second year to the fourth year, and of course, even this fifth year. And I think one thing that's been clear for us is that with the growth, we're also able to get clarity in terms of what our direction is, in terms of what our vision is for the business, not just here to run like a general media company and all that. So that is one. And I think also this year, that also became clearer as to, so last year we moved the business from where we were before down to a new market, and we had to also be able to learn this terrain, this landscape and all that. And I think 2020 has given us that opportunity to be able to learn the landscape here in West Africa.
2020, even with everything happening.
Actually, yeah. I mean, it seems like a year of uncertainty, but then also it's a year that also made it clear for us. We are a digital media company, so it kind of like also opened, a lot of doors for us in terms of brands and also the adoption of technology, which, of course, in this part of the world, our people are quite slow when it comes to adoption of technology. But for this year, this year gave everybody no opportunity to prepare, chance to become a late bloomer, like you would want to put it. Everybody had to find a way around, adopting technology as much as they could and integrating that into their businesses and all that. And I think for us, because we already in this landscape, we are also able to say, okay, we've been here, we're just waiting for you to get to this point with us.
Okay, awesome. So now over to my question, right? With all of that, also highlighting the fact that you said you literally moved from one terrain to another terrain. How did the flow or how did the fitting happen, considering everything that happened in 2020?
Obviously, it's a loss-making year for us. We're already looking into our books and all that. And of course, what is important now is to be able to minimize the losses as much as possible. Of course, revenue-wise, because of the fact that most companies, had to either shut down their marketing spend or kind of like, completely suspend, any marketing activities and all that. So there were no really, good flow of revenue for any other media companies. Generally, booking of advertising was low, of course, because agencies also had to go on lockdown. It's actually quite surprising that you have ad agencies in Nigeria who don't understand how to operate with technology. They're supposed to be at the forefront of this whole thing, but unfortunately, many of them couldn't even work remotely when the whole lockdown started. And so that's a big of a setback on their part. But then, I think the most important thing as a media platform where you have to also keep operating and your revenue is also what it is supposed to be, I think becomes a matter of how do you stay afloat, how do you survive this time and also prepare for a much, a time of better prosperity, so to say.
Fantastic. So this is Africa Business Radio.
That's correct.
And as in your position as founder and let's say the person who is steering the ship, I'm sure that you've had to interact with different business owners and leaders in industry. So would you just like to, based on your, let's say your understanding, data that you have access to, would you just like to give us like an overview of like, okay, in terms of the major, will I say, the ones that come to your head?
Yeah.
Media, entertainment, what else is oil and gas, financial services. How was 2020 for communications, social media? How was 2020 for these businesses? And what's the outlook for the new year? How should people be feeling about how businesses will fare in 2021? The US and the UK have a vaccine now, so COVID may be easing out sometime close to the middle of the year. So how do you think this year dealt with them and how the new year is looking?
There's a couple of industries that are already kind of like they've gone ahead in terms of adoption of technology, especially with regards to how they operate and how they do business. The financial services industry is one of those. You don't necessarily have to be at the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange to trade stocks. So when the lockdown happened, they were able to completely switch to the digital platforms already set up before to allow, either stockbrokers or investors to also be able to participate within the market and still do their businesses and all that. Of course, all the banking infrastructure is already there, so connected to the platform, so they can still place their trade, cash out from the platform into their local bank, and also kind of like move money around accordingly. Even for some of them that even have to move their money outside of the country, the foreign portfolio players, because we actually saw a bit of that in the middle of the pandemic. Some of them moved their money out of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, and because of that, the activities within the exchange also became lower. And then we had to rely on the local investors, to pick up the volume that we want within the market. So that is one particular industry that actually got it right. Of course, most media companies, radio stations and TV stations, most of them struggled because, you literally require a physical infrastructure like a studio to be able to broadcast, except you are set up to be able to do it remotely. But what we have seen is that there is a way to be able to, completely keep your infrastructure in the cloud. But you may have to equip all of your staffs accordingly with more portable gadgets and all that, which would require some form of extra infrastructure or capital spends, which most people did not prepare for. I think that's one big problem, and I think we looked across the world to see who are doing that. You see some popular shows on TV like the Breakfast Club, the popular Breakfast Club, radio show, the one that Trevor Noah also hosts.
Yeah, because I was actually going to talk about that.
So they were able to, in a way, host the shows remotely, and it means that the broadcasters have to, in a way, transport some of the infrastructure into the cloud and use portable equipment, in people's home to be able to, find a way around it. So people had to just switch on their thinking cap immediately and, of course, look for a solution. And I think that's what we're getting into. A media platform, a broadcasting platform with no physical studio, it's possible we're going to get there soon. And I think that is a trend that the direction that the industry is going right now. If you're slow, we can guarantee that there won't be another pandemic, with the way things are going right now. So after COVID-19, there might be some other thing, because, now things are just,
so people need to be prepared.
People need to be prepared, ahead of the time and all that. Yeah. And, one sector that really suffered a setback is the logistic industry, because they power a lot of other industries. They power agriculture, they power retail industry, because they have to be able to move their goods, from one point to another, to the stores, actually. So they suffered setback, and, most of them cannot really operate as much as they should. Then, you expect the price of the different commodity in the market to now go up because of the supply. The supply side of things was interrupted by the disruption within the logistic industry. Then, of course, the demand remains. People still go to the supermarket to buy stuff, and all, because people have to eat. So you could see that was why we had, the prices of most things, they all went up during the lockdown. And
price of essentials.
Yeah, essentials majorly, because the supply was disrupted. And those are the goods that people on a daily basis people buy. You want to buy a loaf of bread, you want to buy, your fruit. If the farmer cannot transport the fruit from the farm to the store, you could, the few ones that the store owners have, they will increase the price.
Fair enough.
And they probably get bad.
Yeah.
So the question I want to ask now is in relation to what we were talking about earlier, right? Yeah. We're talking about, people that we're talking about whether paying their staff, not paying their staff during the lockdown and all of that. So I want to ask, from a point and the perspective of an employer, how did you manage to deal with that at that time? What was more important to you? I mean, keeping staff, trying to kind of put you on the spot, right? Keeping the staff, or like running the business the way it's meant to be run? So what was it?
Keeping staff or staying afloat?
Or staying afloat, yeah.
Employee happiness or bottom line?
I mean, so we did a couple of things. I think one of the things that we did was to look at how long do we expect this to last for. And we already had some sort of risk management strategy in place. And part of that risk management strategy was that, okay, in such a case, you want to run a lean team, you want to duplication of tasks, you want to avoid that. So that would mean that you may have to let a couple of people go, just the way it is. So running a lean team is the first approach that we looked at, to say, okay, what can we do without? The fact is that we can't keep everybody and not able to pay them.
Yeah.
So what can we do without, how do we go around this thing, and how do we also do it within the scope of the law, so that we also don't, go against, the law. And also, we also want to be, we want to feel for the person as well. Maybe they have a family that they also kind of have to feed and all of that. So we had to also look at the best way to do that. So that was the first thing we did. And of course, whoever we had to let go, we let them go, and we did it properly, prepare package and all that.
There is a proper way to let someone
go. Yeah, there is.
There is a proper way to let somebody go.
Yeah, because there are improper ways to let people go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no pay, no nothing, 1 week notice.
Have you seen that movie? There's a movie that has a company especially.
Oh yeah. I started it. I never finished it.
Okay, I think I don't know. You have more questions?
Yeah. You talked about operating in a different terrain.
Yeah.
I think that's South Africa, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah. What are the peculiarities of operating in Nigeria that make business? Because I have a friend who runs a restaurant.
Yeah.
And she left the US. I have a lot of restaurants running France. I like food. She left. She left.
Should be your friend.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, sure, you should be. So she left the US to come back to Nigeria to start the business. Actually,
yeah.
Started with the boss. Was all good. Her biggest challenge of running business in Nigeria has been people. When she has the things that she has told me that people do to her business in terms of how they try to steal from the business.
That's
staff, ridiculous. Like, you hear the most outrageous things. At some point, they brought in their own POS into the restaurant. And so you see them walking around like normal operation, asking people to pay. Yeah, they were paying into their account. Like food stuff, clearing out. So that's her biggest challenge in terms of running business in Nigeria. So, moving from South Africa to West Africa, what has been your biggest challenge in running a business?
I think I agree with your friend. I think I've also said it a couple of times to say that the workforce in Nigeria is a peculiar one. It's so unique that if you're not a gangster yourself, or if you're not Nigerian,
it's hard.
It's hard because everybody thinks they deserve this, and without a clarity as to what value they're bringing and how that is adding to the bottom line of the company. And people really don't care whether this company goes bankrupt tomorrow. They don't have that sense of, okay, we're working here, we're getting something here, this thing has to remain. So they just want to get as much as they can get without clear, arrangement or the clarity as to, okay, are they adding value to the bottom line or to the company? That's the mindset for most people. And when an employee is asking for a raise or they're asking for a certain amount, for salary, and they're not telling you how they will be doing more, they're just telling you what their own responsibility, they have to spend more money, they have one uncle or one younger sister that is depending on their salary. I understand that, I feel for people, but the point is, if you have to now listen to everybody with that story, you end up paying people without really, doing anything. So that is one. But attitude to work also is really, really bad. Attitude to work is bad. Commitment to excellence is also very bad, And all of those things, if you're building a brand or you're building a company with, some level of integrity and structure, is a big problem. because if you don't have the workforce that could be committed to the same vision and, to the same culture, it's going to be a problem. And I think that is why, when people say there's no job in Nigeria, that's not true. There's just jobs. There are jobs, actually. And there are people who are not qualified enough. Nigerians know how to package themselves. Everybody would say, put this, put that in their CV, but really they cannot do the job. They will get to your company, then you have to now train them. And we find out that even hiring people with no experience is better if they come with at least, interest. And passion.
True.
You can work with that and equip them accordingly, with time. But of course, they also have to grow with you. You cannot, be giving somebody you're still training, a certain amount of money in salary. They have to grow with that. But then also, are they willing to grow? Are they willing to accept that, they don't have it yet, but you are ready to give it to them? So, that is that. So, apart from the human resources
I'm going to put a pin on this human resources because I want to respond on behalf of Nigerians, right? I think that there may be a disconnect, right, between the understanding of what a reasonable salary is in Nigeria. And what a reasonable salary is. So the employer's understanding of what a reasonable payout is and what they should pay quality talent is. So it's like, well, I would say there are jobs, but there are no people to fill jobs. What we really mean is there are jobs, but we're not willing to pay the people that can fill those jobs.
Exactly.
Because I believe that one of the things I've noticed is that employers in Nigeria, and this may now be a Nigerian thing, sort of feel like they are doing you a favor by employing you because there are so many jobless people out there. But as you have said, there are many jobless people that don't know anything. But there are also a lot of quality people who know their stuff. It's just that there's just a disconnect between what is reasonable to pay in Nigerian from the employer perspective and what is actually reasonable to pay in Nigeria. Somebody might say, if you offer somebody 300,000 naira, that's a lot of money. That's a reasonable salary. But is it? Is it when you think about the quality of living, the cost of living in Nigeria? If your office is on the island, how much is rent? Do you want them to be staying in Yaba? There are so many and spend 3 hours in traffic every day.
And come to your office and
deliver because you're stressed out.
There's a lot. If I'm to speak on this topic, and let's be quiet because if I'm to speak on this topic, yesterday I had several things to do. And something that kept on piquing my attention consistently was the notice of increase in prices in everything. I walked into a restaurant, noticed by the social date of social date December, these prices will be increased because of Jonathan. I walked into another place, rates for parking were increased, rates for different things were increased, and I'm like, please, can I walk into my office and then see
put a notice for increase in salary?
So I was hoping, but I'm like,
I do agree with you. There are quality people. There are quality people. I do agree with you. Of course, you also spoken really well about the increment in the prices of everything and all of that. But we're living in an environment in a country where money has become the almighty. Where
we live in a world.
Actually, this society is different. I'm telling you, money is important all around the world, but the value, the kind of attachment to money and how we prioritize money above everything in this part of the world is quite annoying sometimes.
It is so because of how much it's needed.
See,
you got it.
What I feel.
I was going to say that.
Money is needed. No,
not just money. In other parts of the world, there's safety nets everywhere.
Exactly.
So my younger brother was telling me yesterday, right, that he needed to get glasses, right? He has to pay 70,000 naira, right, to get his glasses. Why? Because his employer does not provide medical insurance. I'm lucky I have medical insurance. My parents don't have medical insurance, right? If I don't take care of my parents, nobody will. So in many societies, there's social security safety net that makes people be able to, somebody can say, I won't die if I don't earn a lot of money. My family won't die. They'll be okay. So I can think about things like passion and excellence and pursuing a dream and following through with it. But in Nigeria, very, very soon, poverty comes knocking. And so if you're 35 and you have done 8 years of loyalty and poverty is knocking fast on your door, you don't want to be hearing exposure, we are building, you want to hear how much is hitting my account.
I think as much as you guys are making very, very important points, I think a couple of things that we still have to, understand about, a society. Money is important because of the level of poverty in our society. And that poverty is also doesn't mean that there is no money in the circulation. It's just that the level of greed, where the money is so high that, to get it out of them, you have to probably do some certain things that are probably against your values or against some other things. Or
what did we say? What did you say?
Moving on.
What did you?
So it's part of the problem. It's all compounded together because of this enormous value we've attached to money. And when we speak about politicians stealing money, most young people also were trained with stealing money by politician, uncle,
not
or
most.
politician.
The top 1%.
Trust me, in a way, in a way, it still comes down. You know how many young people also had, or have parents who were probably former commissioner, previous, honorable, and all of that.
Top 5%.
And so many of them, more than 5% actually.
Max 10.
No.
Local government chairman and all that.
Max
I think
10.
you even say now, we were talking about Bone Street, it's more relatable.
It's a Bone Street.
So that is that.
Yeah.
But then, this is a conversation that we can, there's no, doesn't matter what we say. People have different perspective based on their individual experiences and how it affects their life.
Yeah.
Sure.
But also one important thing is that with value, comes reward.
True.
With value comes reward.
True.
Nobody can look away from a valuable, person.
A lot of people can look and have and will continue to.
But I think reward eventually comes when you have value.
But then that is not normal.
It depends on if you find the opportunity for the reward to come. Because I know people that have stayed loyal to companies
and
like over time and added value,
reward.
even till today. That's the company sees they know the value. They know if this person leaves, we're in deep. Do you understand? But at the same time, they will still leave you at a point where they know that they will make you feel important. So you feel indebted. Exactly. Do you understand?
I think you're right. I've had a couple of stories about
the reward.
That,
they'll push the reward towards your ego instead of towards
so
your
now
account.
I'm removing my pin from the human resources factor so that we can quickly go over the other challenges of running business in West Africa, in Nigeria particularly.
All right. So apart from human resources, it's also the problem of corruption and, of course, the fact that also we have people who are not necessarily enlightened, running in the affairs of different companies, in charge of decision and all of that. People who don't have a clear understanding of technology. I don't want to talk too much about the advertising industry, but of course, I'm most affected by that industry. Mm-hmm. You have people who don't understand pragmatic advertising, who don't understand it as much as they should, but they're the one in charge of billions of naira in terms of marketing budget and all that.
True.
And because, they have a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who they can give this, who's going to now give them a kickback,
something behind,
in another way, which of course the chain now continues like that, and they just have a little mini circle where they just, distribute everything, not necessarily giving the client, the desired value or the required value.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it also appears that most of these MNOs, I won't say the food mini, and they also kind of like in bed with them and all that. So you have to be able to break into that, and sometimes pay your dues, different ways and different manners, pay the dues and all that. So that is that. Another thing, which is not so much a challenge, is also that Nigerians also want to understand that you're not a fly-by-night kind of person or a company, and that you're here to stay, you're here to do business with them, so they will give you time to prove yourself. And I think this is a good thing in a way. Because there's a lot of people who think, there's a lot of opportunities in Nigeria that should just come overnight and just make so much money and go, without adding value to the local economy or to the local people and all that. So I think those are the top, challenges, and the third one not so much a challenge, but
just something to note. If you plan on coming here to do business.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have last question, and then I think do you have any more?
Yeah. I was going to ask you, what was the attraction to Nigeria?
Potential for growth and opportunities.
So would you say that fine, the challenges we have more challenges here, but you still wanted to come, or like there are more challenges there? Because you understand?
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about so much. I'm sure we just mentioned just a few, right? But then again, a lot of businesses are opening and popping up every other day.
Yeah.
I mean, by Nigerians, by foreigners. I think for some weird reason, I personally think the potential for businesses to grow when it's foreign is higher in Nigeria than the potential for local businesses to grow. So what is your take on that, and like what would you say is the major attraction for Nigeria?
All right, so I would say a couple of things based on the research that we have done and based on some of the data that we've looked into. The enormous growth that Africa promises, as a continent, as a region, as a market, that potential for growth is going to be driven largely from West Africa. If you look across the continent right now, looking to the north, Morocco, Egypt, and all of that, they've had a long year of trade with Europe and, of course, even the Middle East and all that. Right now, they're looking for new market, new opportunities, and they're coming back home. Okay. Morocco decided to join African Union back, just a way to be able to access this market. So they're also looking for new market. They're struggling. If you go to the East Africa, Kenya is burdened with a lot of loans they got from China, building infrastructure that are not really yielding the level of economic productivity to pay the money back. So they're also struggling as an economy. Potential for growth there is also quite little. Of course, their neighboring Tanzania is the other market that people are looking into right now in East Africa. If you go down south, South Africa is largely becoming, a troubled country, high political risk, economic decline, currency losing value, and they're, running fast down the hill and all that. So there's really not too much potential for growth there. Come back to West. You have Ghana coming up as an innovative, country with, relatively stable, political landscape and all of that, and good governance. Actually, good governance in Ghana, guys. The world actually, people trust Ghana,
more than Nigeria.
More than Nigeria. So
yeah, unfortunately.
But then when you look at Nigerian market, it's so big with so much potential that, anything can happen. And the level of instability and the level of risk that Nigeria has.
One thing that I think answers the whole question. Good governance.
There's no good governance here, but the level of risk that Nigeria has as a country, as a market, is kind of in line with the level of profit and reward that comes, when you do business.
So it's a worthy investment.
It's a worthy investment.
Because the numbers.
But you should not complain about the risk, about the difficulties. If you're here for the money or for the profit, you have to weather the landscape as well, the challenges and all that. And I think that was the attraction. And also in terms of, I'm Nigeria, it's only fair that, we be the first partaker of the opportunities, in our country. Everybody's coming back home. We're building Africa again. We're building Africa economy. We're transforming the lives of our people, reducing poverty, driving economic empowerment programs and all that. And I think it's just the right time to come back home.
Okay.
Awesome. I feel like saying, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Soji, but maybe producer will add fake claps for us some at that point. So let me say it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Soji. Thank you so much, Soji, for spending time with us. It was
Thank
really
you for having me, guys.
Insightful session. We look forward to speak to you sometime in the future, and maybe we will.
Do I get an official email to that?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
look into
it. All right,
Thank
now
you.
we'll go on a break, and we'll be back with some hot trending gist. Catch you soon.
No continent is richer than Africa in resources and character. No continent is as underestimated as Africa in size and market potentials. No continent is as overestimated as Africa in challenges of doing business. Africa's real problem is an image problem. No thanks to bad press, bad mouth in Mother Africa. Mama Africa, we are rewriting your story. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.
Welcome back. It's still your favorite podcast radio show, Lifestyle Central. We're still here locking it down, talking about business and 2020, and it is time for the trending segments. I mean, we had an amazing interview with Soji, but we'll talk about that later, right? Okay, let me give Idru, what are we trending today?
Today we're talking about the recent opening of 4 borders by our president, your president, we president, President Buhari. Now, this border opening is just interesting.
Okay, so first of all, the borders that were opened are Seme, Ilela, Maigatari, and Mfun.
I like the way I say it as if you know where these places are.
That's the job, boo.
Well, like, you know, the borders were closed in August last year, right? And the whole idea was, we need to close our borders so that our local farmers will have the opportunity to develop their capacity. Even our local manufacturers also have the opportunity to develop their capacity. Well, let's just say that this strategy did not work.
but see, we cannot take it away from them that they did have... I think they had a good plan. No, they didn't have a good plan. They
had a good goal.
Yeah.
They had a good goal, but they are using
they
the
didn't
tools
implement it
of
properly.
20 years ago. In
20,
today.
very
Fix
true.
the
Very
roads.
True.
Provide security in the north.
Exactly.
If you do the right things, businesses will grow. You don't have to lock the borders. But
no, you actually need to.
You don't know. You don't have to lock the borders. Like, you can impose tariffs and do things like that. But locking the borders, why?
Yeah, but
locking the borders a day after you signed AFCA, which basically says open
Open
our
all
borders
the borders,
to all
yeah.
the 53 countries in
Yeah.
Africa. Like, what's your message in bruv? What's your message in
I think
bruv?
it just clearly tells us that people doing these things are not aware of what's happening. That is why somebody will come out to the full chest and say no protest. Because they don't know what's in the constitution.
This protest
so I think it's still the same. No, of course it's still hello, and it will continue to always pay me. No, it's the fact now. It just shows that, see, the people in these positions don't know what they're signing more than half of the time. They literally just give them paper, they literally smile and sign it. Do you understand? That's why I feel Nigeria is not like Nigeria.
Someone give Winfrey a cup of water. She needs to chill. You need to chill. You need to chill.
Like,
yeah.
I'm too passionate about this.
You need to
That's
chill.
the problem.
Yeah.
But it's okay. Anyways, of course, we know how we are and how Nigerians, or let me not say it like I'm trying to point fingers, right? We take advantage of situations. Do you understand?
Yeah.
With borders closed, of course, people started seeing the opportunity and seeing the need to increase their prices because they they know that, guys, you guys are relying on us now, and we have everything under control. So yeah.
A couple of challenges that this great idea had was like, so I read that we had flooding in numerous states that are usually like producing states, so like food producing states. So that impacted their ability to produce food, which meant that alternative source of food, which was already locked, then we now had flooding, meant that demand was way higher than supply, and all our prices skyrocketed. We've seen significant increase in the price of food. Like, before this year, when people ask me like, oh, Ejiro, what do you want for like Christmas present? Like in the office, I'm like, oh, I want headphones, I want cute power bank, I want a pouch.
Food.
I just said, give us rice and oil. Because
exactly, true.
Like, everybody was just responding to that email. Rice and oil, big bag of rice. Very specific, big bag of rice. So because it's just really expensive to eat these days, right?
I mean, I went to the market not too long ago and I literally was telling my friend, I'm like, how do people survive?
How?
Like, how? I literally went in with how much, and I looked at what I bought. I'm like, what is, like, one paint bucket of potato, I will literally go that detailed. It's 3,000 naira. Something I used to buy 700 naira for twice that size. And I'm like,
Chai.
What's happening?
Please,
onions.
Share potatoes with
I
me.
literally used to give people onions. Give out onions in Abuja.
You can't try it anymore.
Like, no.
Onions is new bone
I
straight.
use one whole bulb to literally cook my noodles. 2 noodles. But
Wow.
now you have to divide it.
It's just a
and
lot.
divide it.
It's just a lot.
No, it's just really
There's also
sad.
like all the issues of insecurity, which is so clear in the north.
But
300 kids abducted some days ago,
Yes,
just like
yeah.
fighting and
Yes,
stuff. There's just a
yes.
lot going on, and that also impacts also farmers killed. Like last month, 43 farmers were beheaded, rice farmers.
yeah.
Also in Borno, I believe. So yeah,
But I think with everything, what actually touched me the most is that the government seems to be paying attention. I mean, for the no. Come on.
I didn't say anything. I don't
Come
know why
on.
you're telling me
No, I
no.
think-
Come on.
You took in a deep breath. No,
Yeah.
no, don't get me wrong. Of course, like, see, I think sometimes, we lash these guys a whole lot of time because they're doing a lot of things wrong. But then again, when we spot that, okay, these guys are still trying to at least, because they obviously don't have onions problem. But then
300 children were
Of
kidnapped
course.
in broad daylight.
Guy, I'm not.
Do you know
I'm
what
not
is
trying
required to kidnap
downplay-
300 children? It means
the
that you
first time
carried
it's happening
trucks,
now, of course.
and then you now have separate trucks for your armed forces. So,
of course, the president was in the States at that time.
so what that
So-
means is that there are parts of our country that we have no control over.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
these are not like border states. Katsina, is that a border state?
not a
I think
border
Katsina is not a border state. It is bordered by other states. So,
Other states, yeah.
okay, back to the focus of the focus. Which
My
is,
point is, they saw, okay, fine, something they did a few months ago actually wasn't yielding anything profitable or positive, and then they
Okay.
decided to retrace their steps
Okay,
and open
fair
borders.
enough,
In
fair
that
enough.
direction, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, good. So,
Yeah.
so we're hoping that they will try and just avoid bad decisions in the coming year. So let's just avoid the bad decisions. So the borders have been opened. We'll be able to import rice for Christmas. Hopefully, price of things drop.
drop.
Yes, hopefully price of things
I
drop.
feel it has already hit that point. It's already
You know
hit
Nigeria
December.
now. Once it goes up,
Never. It's not coming down.
does not come down.
It's not coming down.
All right, that's it from us on Trender today.
Yeah, of course. And then we're moving on to our spotlight, right?
What are we spotlighting?
We're spotlighting on the coronavirus. All right? And no, we're not we're doing that because, okay, there's
Wait.
so
People who are following the show are like, they spotlighted on like Lagos, and then they did the book. So what are we having this week? It's like
wait,
coronavirus.
Yeah, so, because it's really important to talk about this
Coronavirus
thing. Why?
shit is
Because
getting real,
there's actually a need to talk about this because
I
there's
agree.
fear of a second wave. One,
Not
and
fear, there is.
a second wave,
Yeah.
and there's fear of a second lockdown. I've been hearing like a whole lot of things
Yeah,
going on about that and all
the governor of Lagos State was coronad.
that. Okay, it's not a laughing topic, but okay.
Was coronad. He'll be fine. We pray that he'll get better.
He'll definitely be fine. But yeah, I think the reason here is to make sure we're passing information right? To tell you guys you need to keep on wearing your mask. I was definitely at an event hosting few weeks ago, and then I literally had to keep on telling people, please leave your mask on. People think the mask is just for the guy at the gates, because he won't let you in. And then once you wear the mask, you pass him, you take it off. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, not too long ago, yesterday, I actually saw a video on social media where a mom was actually crying that she was on a flight with her kid and her husband, and then they literally walked the whole family off the plane because the young girl, who was 2-year-old, refused to keep her mask on. She refused to wear it. She was literally covering her face, and they were crying. And I think the airline literally banned them from traveling with them ever again.
Wow.
And so a lot of people were like, okay, fine, she's 2-year-old and all of that. A whole lot of, controversy on that issue. But then again, the issue here is keep wearing your mask. I go to places where people look at me and say, guy, why are you wearing a mask?
No, please put it on.
Why are you
Please
wearing
put
a
it
mask?
on,
Do you
because
understand?
we
Put
have
it
a
on
second
and
wave
keep
coming.
it
So
on.
all the energy that we used the first time around, we need to bring all that energy back. We
Please.
need to recognize that we're now behaving
Yeah.
like COVID idiots,
Yeah.
right?
And please, your mask is not for your mouth alone. Neither is it for your jaw. No. It's for your nose.
So please, this is
And
our
your
spotlight.
mouth.
It's for your nose and your mouth. Keep your mask on.
Yes.
We
Keep
now have to
sanitizing your
start
hands.
avoiding big gatherings. Yeah, we are going wild now with our weddings. We're going wild. We are basically going out of town. I know. I threw a party 2 weeks ago,
Shame on
right?
you. But it was
through a
an
party
open-
it was open
an
air
open
and
environment.
stuff. And honestly, the numbers weren't this high at the time. But now the numbers are spiking again. We are doing 500
Let's
plus.
talk about wedding.
We are doing 500 plus a day.
day, yeah.
So we all need to just be like really careful, because I know it seems like many people recover from corona, but some people do die.
And a lot of people
Yeah.
think that, okay, fine, because a lot of us haven't had it, despite the fact that we've been careless, the thing doesn't, people, I've gone somewhere, someone educated was telling me, see, guy, this thing is just a strategy, something. I'm like, guy, come on. People are actually dying from these things, right? So you need to be careful. Wash your hands as often as possible, properly with soap and water. If you can't, keep your hands sanitized. For all of you that drink, your alcohol is good replacements for sanitizer. So no, that sanitizer is scarce is not an excuse. Please, that's
They should use their Henny.
That Alamo you have in your bag, or that Chelsea sachet. Just pour half on your hand, Thank you very much. It's
Avoid
very
handshakes.
awful.
Lagos is now a
avoid
no
hugs.
handshake zone. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
avoid
chop
hugs.
knuckle, elbow,
Even knuckle,
elbow,
please
knuckle.
don't chop any knuckle.
Please, you're allowed to chop knuckle
Don't
and
chop
chop
any
elbow.
no.
All right.
Kiss, no.
Winfrey does what?
No.
What?
No, nothing.
What?
No, nothing.
Okay.
No contact whatsoever. Even eye contacts, avoid it.
All right. So our spotlight today, ladies and gentlemen, is the coronavirus. We just want to tell you it's still out there. It's still real. We need you to be careful and responsible.
Yes.
We are all depending on you.
Yeah.
Great show today, Winfrey.
Great show, Ejiro. Nice one. I would have hugged you, but no. Stay away.
Is that like a high five we're doing?
No, it's not.
Don't do that.
No, it's like stay away. I'm still making sure my social distance is still in right distance.
Sure. So we had a great show today. We spoke about business and 2020. We had with us Soji, who is the founder of Africa Business Radio. And he really broke down a couple of things for us on how 2020 has impacted businesses and what's the outlook for the coming year, on why Nigeria remains an attractive market for businesses in the coming years. And just like his own experience and peculiar challenges with doing business in Nigeria and West Africa.
Definitely. And of course, from there, we hopped on the trending bus. And of course, we went around Nigeria, where the president actually opened the borders due to scarcity of food and inflation and a whole lot more. And of course, we did the spotlights on COVID. Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.
Avoid handshakes.
Wash your hands.
Woo! It has been a boom shakalaka show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. We love you. Stay safe. Until next time.
Lifestyle Central signing out. Peace.
Boom. Hey guys, welcome to Lifestyle Central, your one-stop shop for everything life and style.
On this show, we'll be talking about all the latest trends, the biggest news, and the best places.
So sit back, relax, call a friend, and enjoy.
Oh, by the way, my name is Winfrey Daniel Okolo.
And my name is Ejiro Esigbone, and this show is gonna be boom shakalaka.
No continent is richer than Africa in resources and character. No continent is as underestimated as Africa in size and market potentials. No continent is as overestimated as Africa in challenges of doing business. Africa's real problem is an image problem. No thanks to bad press, bad mouth in Mother Africa. Mama Africa, we are rewriting your story. Africa Business Radio, towards a profitable Africa.